there is something you need to hear today. Something heaven has been trying to whisper to your spirit for a very long time. Listen carefully. What tried to destroy you did not succeed. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the loneliness, the confusion, the silent battles nobody knows about, it was supposed to break your spirit. But somehow, you survived, not because you are lucky, not because you are stronger than everyone else. You survived because God placed something inside of you that darkness could not kill. And that is why your life has felt different from the beginning. You always felt out of place, misunderstood, disconnected from the crowd. People could never fully understand you because they were never meant to carry what you carry. Hear this clearly. You were chosen before you were born, and the enemy knew it. That is why the attacks started early. That is why people betrayed you for no reason. That is why you had to cry in silence while pretending to be strong. The warfare around your life was never normal. Because your calling is not normal, God is saying. They tried to bury you, but they did not know I planted you. There were moments you almost gave up, moments you questioned your worth, moments you wondered if God had forgotten you. But even in the silence, God was preparing you. Even in isolation, God was protecting you. Even in heartbreak, God was separating you from people who could not go where He is taking you. Chosen one, you were never abandoned. You were being trained, and what is coming next will shock everyone who doubted you, because this season is different. Something is shifting in the spiritual realm. You can feel it. The old version of you is dying. The fearful version, the broken version, the version that begged people to stay. God is removing that version forever. This pain was not the end of your story. It was the fire before transformation. And now, heaven is about to reveal why you had to suffer the way you did. Chosen one, hear this clearly. The battle over your life became intense because the enemy saw something in you before you saw it in yourself. That strange feeling you carried your whole life. That deep sense that you were meant for something greater. That feeling was real. You were marked by God, and because of that, darkness tried to stop you early. Think about your journey. Why did so many people misunderstand you? Why did your kindness get abused? Why did your loyalty get betrayed? Why did you keep losing people you loved? Because your spirit carries light, and light exposes darkness. Some people hated you without understanding why. Some walked away because your presence convicted them. Some betrayed you because they were assigned to distract you from your purpose. Listen carefully. Not every separation was a loss. Some people were removed because they would have destroyed your destiny. God saw conversations you never heard. He saw hidden jealousy. He manipulation, he intentions. And while you were crying over who left, God was protecting your future. You thought the rejection meant you were unwanted. But heaven says otherwise. You were being redirected. Chosen one. There are doors God intentionally closed because the path behind them led to destruction. You were praying for acceptance, while God was preparing elevation. And the hardest part? Nobody understood your pain. You smiled while carrying invisible battles. You encouraged others while secretly falling apart inside. You fought wars in your mind that nobody ever saw. The loneliness became unbearable at times. There were nights you cried yourself to sleep asking God, "Why me?" But hear this clearly. Because God trusted you with a calling bigger than comfort. Some people are born for ordinary lives. You were not. Your spirit was designed for transformation. That is why suffering followed you. That is why comfort never lasted long. God kept allowing seasons that forced you to grow, because the oil on your life could only come through crushing, and now you are starting to understand something powerful. The attacks increased whenever you got closer to breakthrough. Every time God was about to elevate you. Confusion appeared, distractions appeared, unexpected betrayals appeared. Why? Because the enemy panics when a chosen person wakes up spiritually. Hear this clearly. You are not crazy for feeling spiritual warfare around your life. The exhaustion, the emotional heaviness, the strange cycles, the constant battles. Some of it was spiritual, but what the enemy meant for destruction, God is turning into strength, because every battle built discernment inside you. Now you can see through fake love. Now you can recognize manipulation. Now you can feel when something is spiritually wrong. Your suffering sharpened your spirit. Chosen one, the isolation was not punishment. It was preparation. God had to separate you from noise so you could hear his voice. And yes, it hurt. It hurt watching people leave. It hurt being forgotten. It hurt feeling unseen while everyone else seemed to move forward. But God says, I removed them because they could not carry your next season. Some people only loved the broken version of you. Some people were comfortable while you stayed small. Some celebrated you only when you doubted yourself. But heaven is removing every false connection, because where God is taking you, you cannot carry fake people anymore. Listen carefully. Your breakthrough requires separation. Transformation requires isolation. And the version of you that is rising now will no longer beg for love that God never approved. There is a reason your spirit feels restless lately. A reason you feel disconnected from old environments. A reason certain conversations drain you now. A reason your soul craves peace more than attention. You are evolving spiritually. God is waking you up. The old life no longer fits. And even though this transformation feels lonely, it is holy because God is rebuilding your identity, not based on pain, not based on rejection, not based on what people said about you, but based on who He says you are. And God says you are chosen. Not forgotten, not cursed, not abandoned, chosen. That is why the enemy failed to destroy you, because your life belongs to God, and what God protects, hell cannot kill. Chosen one, you survived things that should have destroyed your mind. You survived heartbreak that almost stopped your heart. You survived isolation that nearly broke your spirit. You survived betrayal that changed the way you see people forever. Yet you are still here, still breathing, still fighting, still believing. That is not weakness. That is proof that God's hand has been over your life the entire time. And now, your season of survival is ending. A new season is beginning, a season of clarity, a season of spiritual authority. A season where God exposes every hidden enemy and reveals every hidden blessing. The suffering was preparation, the silence was preparation, the delay was preparation, because God was building someone unstoppable, you. Listen carefully. The version of you that enters this next season will not resemble the person who cried through the last one. Something sacred is happening inside you, even now, even while you still feel tired, even while you still carry wounds, even while you are still waiting for answers. God is transforming you in silence, chosen one. The world celebrates visible success, but heaven celebrates hidden endurance. And nobody knows how much endurance it took for you to survive this season. Nobody knows how many times you almost quit, how many silent prayers you whispered, how many moments you felt emotionally exhausted. But God saw all of it.